Thousands of years ago, beings descended from the sky and shaped the world. Ancient tablets discovered in Sumer whisper secrets of humanity that we never knew. The Anunnaki, Enki, and Ninmah, the creation of humans, a mysterious flood, and the departure of the gods. From gold mines to ancient temples, from mythology to modern religions, the journey spans millennia. Nephilim, fallen angels, and traces of ancient knowledge still linger among us. Who are we really, and where do we come from? Get ready. The deepest secrets of human history are now coming to light. At the end of the 19th century, archaeologists working with limited resources, particularly Austin Henry Layard and Hormuzd Rassam, conducted excavations in the ancient lands of Mesopotamia. After years of effort, massive archaeological sites were uncovered in regions that included cities like Nippur and Ur. These sites revealed not only statues and ornaments, but also thousands of clay tablets that challenged our understanding of human history. Deciphering and interpreting these tablets was a long process for experts. However, when the texts known as Enki and Ninmah were finally translated, the information they contained awakened after millennia of slumber. These texts held astonishing narratives about the creation of humanity. In the Anunnaki tradition, three major gods stand out. Anu, considered the supreme deity of the universe, followed by Enlil and Enki. This trio forms the center of a larger council of 12 gods and goddesses. According to Sumerian mythology, in the beginning there was only an infinite primordial ocean. This vast water was called Namo, regarded as a conscious being. From this boundless water, a massive mountain emerged. Enlil, her son, split this mountain in two, separating the heavens from the earth. The upper part became the sky, while the lower part became the earth. The god of the sky and the goddess of the earth adorned this realm with plants, trees, and waters. Then animals appeared, and finally, the Anunnaki were created to govern this entire order. When the Anunnaki first set foot on Earth, there was another group working to meet their needs, the Igigi. This group ranked just below the Anunnaki in the hierarchy and undertook heavy labor such as building temples, digging canals, and preparing food. Over time, however, the burden became too great, and the Igigi revolted. To find a solution, Enki, the god of wisdom, creativity, and waters, stepped in. He was accompanied by Ninmah, the goddess associated with fertility and life. Together, they conducted long experiments. The first attempts failed as organs and limbs did not function properly. However, by combining the blood of the gods with other elements in a balanced way, they finally created the perfect being, the first human, a male called Adapa. This process was repeated to create women, and humans began to multiply among themselves. The population grew to a level capable of serving the Anunnaki. Enki treated Adapa as his own son, teaching him agriculture, laws, science, and the names of things around him. Humans now possessed basic knowledge and served under the authority of the gods. The heavy labor formerly carried out by the Igigi, including work in the mines, was now entrusted to humans. Ancient texts, such as the Enuma Elish, Ziska, and Enki narratives, as well as the Sumerian king list, also mention the Anunnaki's interest in gold mines. These valuable minerals were recorded in the tablets. Authors Akari and Suchin claim that this gold was used by the Anunnaki to repair the atmosphere of their own planet. However, it is important to note that this is only a theory and should not be taken as fact. According to ancient epics, as the human population grew, their voices reached the heavens. However, with their increasing numbers, their respect for the gods diminished. This angered Enlil greatly. He commanded that no warning be given to humanity about the impending flood. The plan was to destroy all humans and then create a more obedient species. Yet Enki, the god of wisdom, felt a deep attachment to humanity and did not want them completely wiped out. He secretly warned a trusted human, Utnapishtim, about the approaching catastrophe. He instructed him to build a large ship, taking his family and certain animals aboard to survive the flood. The great deluge lasted 6 nights, and the ship finally rested atop a mountain. In the following days, Utnapishtim sent out birds to check if the waters had receded. When the last bird, a raven, did not return, He knew the flood was over and stepped onto dry land. To give thanks to the gods for the new beginning, 7 sacrificial vessels of meat were offered. Witnessing this, Enlil was enraged, exclaiming, "How did they survive?" But Enki intervened, arguing that it was wrong to completely annihilate humanity. He suggested punishing the guilty, but not allowing such a destructive flood again. Enlil's anger subsided, and the gods shared the sacrificial meal in peace. This era, which lasted for centuries, finally culminated in a significant event. The gods, believed to have come from the heavens and who had taught humanity the foundations of civilization, departed from the earth. They promised that one day they would return to protect humanity from impending disasters, leaving humans to continue their journey with the knowledge and skills they had imparted. When comparing mythologies, a similar hierarchy often emerges. For example, in Egyptian belief, the chief god Amun stands at the top, followed by important figures such as Osiris and Set. In ancient Greece, the trio of Cronus, Zeus, and Poseidon, along with 12 gods and goddesses residing on Olympus, bears a striking resemblance to the Sumerian council of 12 deities. Interestingly, this number and arrangement also appear in Christianity with Jesus' 12 apostles. In Hinduism, a similar triad exists: Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. In the Americas, Hinamku is considered the supreme creator, followed by its Samna and Kukulkan, or Quetzalcoatl. Creation narratives across different cultures also share common symbols. In the book of Genesis, God's spirit moves over the waters, and he separates the waters by creating a dome, assigning heaven to the sky and earth to the dry land. The land is then filled with plants and animals. Sumerian texts show a remarkably similar creation sequence. The Quran similarly mentions that God separated the heavens and the earth and created all living beings from water, though in a more concise manner. The symbols and narrative style echo both the Torah and Sumerian traditions. Accounts of human creation also show striking parallels across sacred texts. The Torah and Quran intersect with Sumerian records at several points, particularly regarding clay or mud and humans being created in the image of the gods. Phrases like, "We created man from flowing clay," or "God formed man from the soil and breathed life into him," appear in different traditions. Similarly, "Let us make humans in our image" conveys the same universal theme. In the Quran, Allah tells the angels, "I am going to create a human from clay. When I breathe my spirit into him, you shall bow to him." The flood story is also preserved in the memory of many civilizations. From the Sumerians to the Torah, the Quran, and apocryphal texts, the essence remains the same. Humanity becomes corrupt, loses devotion to the gods, and only a few are saved to start a new era. In the Book of Enoch, the flood occurs because humans interact with fallen angels, gain forbidden knowledge, and produce giants, Nephilim, inciting divine wrath. Humanity's goal is not to become divine, but to remain obedient. Similarly, in the Torah, heavenly beings, Elohim, mingle with human women, producing Nephilim. God, seeing human corruption, chooses Noah and warns him of the flood. Noah's ark preserves his family and the animals, and the flood lasts 40 days. When the ark rests on a mountain, Noah releases birds to gauge the waters receding. He offers a sacrifice to God, who accepts it and promises never again to curse the earth because of humanity. In the Quran, a similar account exists. Allah sends Noah to his people. As generations become corrupt and disobedient, the flood punishes them. Noah is instructed to build the ark and take specified creatures aboard. The waters rise to cover the mountains, and all humans perish except for those on the ark, marking a fresh beginning for humanity. Another shared theme among these stories is the departure of the gods. The belief that they will return to save humanity evolved in some religions into the concept of a Messiah or Mahdi, continuing to influence spiritual thought. As we journey into the depths of human history, the information we uncover is far more complex and astonishing than what history books have taught us. Stories of the Anunnaki, the Nephilim, and fallen angels are not merely mythology. They are some of the oldest narratives through which humanity has tried to understand its own existence. These tales are intertwined with the birth of civilizations, cultural rituals, and religious beliefs passed down from generation to generation over millennia. Modern humans may live distant from these ancient truths, yet many behaviors and symbols rooted in faraway civilizations are unconsciously repeated today. Sacred spaces, temples, and ritual practices are, in fact, evolved forms of ceremonies once offered to the Anunnaki. People still feel a need to communicate with a higher power, seek its help, and submit to it, a subconscious legacy from the distant past. Our understanding of governance and social hierarchy is also linked to this ancient heritage. The concept of authority from above and divine lineage that began in ancient Sumer manifests today in monarchies, state ceremonies, and even modern corporate power structures. People still tend to follow leaders without question, reinforced by rewards and penalties in many societies, a cultural code spanning thousands of years. With the rise of science and technology, humanity's quest to transcend its limits mirrors ancient mythological narratives. Genetic research, artificial intelligence, and biotechnology prompt humans to question their own creation. Perhaps the idea of shaping humans envisioned by the Anunnaki resonates with today's efforts to control our biology and environment. In this way, an invisible bridge forms between past and present. History repeats itself, albeit with new tools. This journey reminds us of a fundamental truth. Humanity still seeks to understand its place, origin, and purpose in the universe. Every archaeological discovery, translation of ancient texts, or modern scientific advancement gradually reveals pieces of this grand puzzle. Perhaps the greatest lesson is that humans must accept the complexity of their creation, beliefs, and culture while learning to embrace the unknown. Ultimately, the Nephilim, Anunnaki, fallen angels, and ancient myths are not just stories of the past. They shape our present and future. Understanding human history is equivalent to understanding ourselves. This awareness fosters curiosity, consciousness, and freedom. Humanity is part of a millennia-long awakening, and the journey continues. Shaped by the hands of those who descended from the skies, we still question our origins thousands of years later. Perhaps the shadow of the true Creator is closer than we ever imagined.